newspaper today. You see the main headline there, Trump in Tulsa. The president coming to do a big rally event in Tulsa is the main headline. But then look at column one. The other main news of the day on the front page of the Tulsa World. New cases surpass peak. Tulsa County's 7-day rolling average more than doubles the peak that was hit in April. And you can see the lead of that story there, right there above the fold. COVID-19 in Tulsa County is surging well beyond its original April peak, disappointing those who hoped the disease might at least stay somewhat under wraps during the summer heat, like the flu or common cold. Tulsa County's 7-day rolling average of new cases is now more than double the peak that Tulsa hit in April. The county also just reported the most new cases on a single day yet. Again, that's the front page of the Tulsa World in Tulsa, Oklahoma today. Vice President Mike Pence recently said that the Trump campaign picked Tulsa for the president's big re-election rally this week, specifically because they've done such a great job flattening the curve and stopping the virus there. That's not at all true. The virus is actually off to the races there, and it is the worst it has ever been throughout the duration of the epidemic, both in Oklahoma broadly and in Tulsa specifically. We will have more on that coming up. But the president announced the Tulsa campaign rally right after he moved the Republican convention out of Charlotte, North Carolina this year. Because he didn't want to do anything at the Republican convention to mitigate the threat of coronavirus, and so North Carolina basically said, no thanks then. Well, in Charlotte, North Carolina, here's the front page today of their local paper, Charlotte News Observer, quote, Governor Cooper asked Pence for help with testing. And again, you can see the lead there above the fold. Governor Roy Cooper says he's spoken with Vice President Mike Pence about the state's climbing coronavirus infections and the need for testing. The governor says the state is monitoring hospital capacity as new infections in North Carolina have hit record numbers in the past few days, as have hospitalizations in North Carolina. On that front page, you can also see the other major headline above the fold, page A1, is about how the state's nursing homes are unable to contain the coronavirus at this point. The president has also reportedly decided to do another campaign event in Alabama sometime soon. Well, here's the front page of the Montgomery Advertiser today. Virus infections rise among Alabama prison staff. Here's the lead coronavirus story at Alabama Live right now. Hospitals in several Alabama cities now seeing all-time highs in coronavirus patients. Quote, the number of COVID-19 patients in hospitals in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, and Decatur has hit all-time highs this month, filling beds and taxing staff as the state struggles with a wave of new cases. It's Alabama. Here's the front page at the Arizona Republic tonight. Arizona reports record high new COVID cases. And then here's their big front page feature story today. Headline, I am taken aback. Here's why Arizona's COVID-19 trajectory is concerning. Here's the lead of that story where you can see they got the quote for that headline. From the perspective of Arizona emergency room physician Dr. Murtaza Akhtar, the COVID-19 pandemic here could be even worse than the state's numbers are showing. Dr. Akhtar says, quote, I am taken aback. I walked into the hospital today and I was like, oh my God. Dr. Akhtar, who works at both Florence Hospital and Valleywise Health Medical Center in Phoenix, says, quote, we are getting all sorts of patients who look quite sick. The paper continues, trend lines are moving up in Arizona. Total hospitalizations have doubled since April. The number of new daily cases reported by the state have recently reached record levels. Dr. Akhtar says, quote, it's very important for the people to know that whatever your politics may be, whatever your family members may be doing, whatever you want to do for fun, there really is a huge pandemic. It is important to distance even if you aren't sick. In Arizona's second largest city in Tucson, as of yesterday morning, the Tucson Medical Center had just one remaining bed available in its ICU. One ICU bed left. Tucson Medical Center spokeswoman Julia Strange writing in an email to the Arizona Republic, quote, we have been very constrained within our ICU because of the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. The Republic then reprints these graphs from the COVID tracking project showing the kind of company that Arizona is in right now. Take a close look at that. What that is, you see the headline there, daily positives. That's the graph of daily numbers of positive cases in Texas and Arizona and North Carolina and South Carolina. Look at how steeply those numbers are rising. This, also from the COVID tracking project, is the graph of hospitalizations in those states. Again, Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina. That's bad. In Texas, they have just set 5 consecutive days of record hospitalizations. And this is the front page of the Texas Tribune right now. Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott assuring Texans that there are plenty of beds, plenty of hospital beds to go around. Never mind the 5 straight days of ever increasing record numbers. Fill them up. They can take way more. So it's okay if the daily number of new infections keeps hitting new records as well. Let's just see how high we can go. I mean, you see the secondary headline on the front page there, which is a little discordant with that message from the governor. The secondary headline on the front page of the Texas Tribune tonight is this: Texas Governor Greg Abbott blames people in their 20s for the latest increase in coronavirus. It's kind of a hard sell, right, to pick somebody to blame if you are simultaneously denying that the huge increases in coronavirus transmission and new cases in your state are any sort of problem, right? Because you got plenty of hospital beds to fill up with sick and dying Texans. We can take them all, make more. Some Texas cities and communities want to put in place new mitigation measures to try to slow down the spread in Texas. But the governor made clear today he will block any Texas cities and towns and counties from doing that. Because again, his approach is fill them up. There's lots of room for people to die here. Lots of beds to fill up with sick and dying people. Got plenty of room. The vice president today wrote an op-ed in which he said that the state of the U.S. coronavirus epidemic is, in his words, quote, cause for celebration. Cause for celebration. He said, thanks to the leadership of President Trump, we are winning the fight against the invisible enemy. I just want to put something on the screen here. If you're like doing the dishes and not watching what I'm doing, just you might want to look at this for a second. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you have these graphs? That's Italy, how they have dealt with their epidemic. In the upper right-hand corner there, that's Spain. That's how they've dealt with their epidemic. In the lower left-hand corner, that's France. That's the shape of their epidemic over time. Now let's put us up there. Let's put the United States up there for comparison's sake. Yeah, that's us. That's what the U.S. government is calling cause for celebration. Closing in on 117,000 Americans dead, and we appear to be doing something you might reasonably call peak plateauing. I mean, all these other Western industrialized countries, all these allies of ours that got hit hard and early like we did, they did actually succeed in bringing their numbers basically back down to their baseline or close to it. But us, no way. We are just plodding along, steady as she goes, with the biggest epidemic on Earth, the deadliest one already, and we are just holding forth now at 20,000 plus cases a day. More than 20 cases seeing daily increases in their number of cases this week. The New York Times reporting that Vice President Pence told governors on a call yesterday that they should stress in their public remarks that the reason it might look like case numbers are getting worse in lots of states is just because of additional testing, not because we've got any problem with a persistent and even growing epidemic. That advice from the vice president is not borne out by what's actually happening with the numbers in the states, where case numbers are outpacing the rate of testing, and where the percentage of positive test results is going up in multiple states. Vice President Pence also apparently told the governors that they should play up what a success reopening has been, which sounds like an awesome thing to want to be able to say until you look at the front pages of local newspapers around the country. I mean, here's the Miami Herald front page today. Miami and Miami Beach mayors sound alarm on COVID-19 increase. Miami is one of the places nationwide that is now considering stopping or rolling back reopening efforts because of exploding case numbers and record hospitalization numbers. Miami's considering that, Nashville's considering that, Utah, Oregon, and counting. We went through all that national discussion about reopening. Well, we're now entering into the part of the botched reopenings that's going to lead to a big national discussion about reclosings. Unless, of course, you are buying what the White House is selling. Vice President Pence in his op-ed today saying any panic over a so-called second wave is, quote, overblown. Tonight, we're going to speak with the top